Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman. Today we're learning how to add chords in the left hand to Mary Had a Little Lamb. So let's come over to the piano and get started with the chords. You recall that for Mary Had a Little Lamb we're in the E major pentascale. So our one chord will be built on a Do, Mi, and So. We call this the one chord, or sometimes it's called the tonic chord. Now the other chord that we'll be using is the 5-7 chord. And for that chord, Mi moves up to Fa and Do moves down to Ti. Ti is the note a half step below Do. And it sounds like this. So now let's listen to that again. We have the one chord and then the 5-7 chord. In order to comfortably play the 5-7 chord, it's helpful to slide your hand forward. So finger 2 is actually probably going to come in between these black keys here, so your finger 5 can reach the D sharp more comfortably. So here's the one chord, and then slide your hand forward. And that's better than trying to twist your hand this way. Just slide forward. When we're adding the chords, this time I'd like to try and do it by ear. So in other words, I'm not going to tell you exactly when to play which chord. We're going to listen and try and figure out which chord sounds better with each part of the song. So let's come back to the piano and see if we can figure that out. So let's play a little part of the melody in the right hand. The start goes like this. Now let's try both chords and see which sounds better. Here it is with the one chord. Now let's try the same notes with the 5-7 chord. Which sounded better to you? Definitely the one chord sounds better here. How about this next part? There's the one chord. Here it is with the 5-7 chord. I think the one chord still sounds best, don't you? So we've had two one chords in a row. Let's try it that far again. Now how about on this next part? Here's with the one chord. Here's with the 5-7 chord. Aha! That time, did you notice the 5-7 chord sounded better? And that's because I'm on a Re. And Re sounds better with the 5-7 chord. However, when we were starting on a Mi, Mi sounds better with the one chord, doesn't it? So let's go that far again. We've had two one chords in a row, then a 5-7 chord. Now here's the next phrase. We can use a one chord or a 5-7 chord. Once again, I think we need a one chord. So the order so far was one chord, 5-7 chord, and then one chord. Let's hear that whole first line. Good. Now so we can remember that, let's draw those chord symbols in the music itself. Okay, here's the music that we filled in our last lesson for Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now we're going to add the chord symbols. For chord symbols, we use Roman numerals. And in Roman numerals, the number 1 is written with a capital I. Since we use the one chord here, we'll use capital I, and that means one chord. And then after this bar line, we add another one chord. And then over here, we do the 5-7 chord. We'll use a V with a line over it and under it. That's how you do a Roman numeral 5-7 chord there. And then when we get here, we're going to do another one chord. Now, on your own at the piano, I'd like you to try playing these chords with the melody. And then on this line, I'd like you to figure out the chords yourself. Figure out where it sounds good with a one chord and where it sounds good with a 5 chord. Do a chord on the first note in each measure. Remember, you can tell when a new measure starts from the bar line. So you'll do a chord here, 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 and here. Press pause and try to figure out the chords on your own, then press play again when you're ready to see the correct answer that I would have come up with. Okay, when I play Mary Had a Little Lamb, these are the chords that I think sound best. I use a 1 chord here, here, a 5-7 chord here, and then a 1 chord here. Like we said, the 5-7 chord usually sounds best with re, and the 1 chord sounds best with mi and do. And that's why I chose these chords. Now, sometimes there's not a definite right or wrong to chords. We go with what sounds best. And like I said, this is what sounded best to me. Maybe you came up with the same chords. Now that we have all the chords figured out, practice playing the chords in your left hand while you play the melody in your right hand. Let me demonstrate what the whole thing will sound like with chords added in now. Now it's your turn to practice on your own until you can play that really confidently. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. It followed her to school one day,
Ah! Giant lamb, giant lamb.
Hey, the lamb's supposed to make you want to laugh and play. Don't you know the song? Oh, you're such a nice giant lammy.
Man.